secrets can't avoid. Running through the midnight hour, lost souls seek hidden power. In the static of the air, questions more than we can bear. Fragments of truth they'll distort, voices calling from the fort. Shadows speak, they never lie. Hidden paths they mystify. Unveil the mask, ignite the spark. Dive into the deepest dark.
You've been told to trust the system. You've been told to believe in the people who say they have all the answers. But what if they don't? What if everything you think you know is just a carefully crafted illusion? A smokescreen designed to keep you from seeing the truth. Welcome to the dark corners of the unknown. In this world, nothing is as it seems. The shadows are long, and the whispers of the powerful echo louder than you'll ever hear from the voices of those who are silenced. In tonight's episode, we'll peel back the layers of a story so twisted it could change everything. But be warned, once you open this door, there's no turning back. The truth, well, is more dangerous than you can imagine. Stay with us, and you'll uncover what they've been hiding. But remember, once you see the darkness, it's hard to look away. This is the Midnight Syndicate.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Midnight Syndicate podcast. If you've just now found this secret podcast, I'm sure that you're wondering just exactly what in the hell this thing is and what's going on. Well, I guess you could say this is kind of like a spinoff of my main podcast, the Para Reality Podcast. This is going to be a monthly podcast where I'm going to sit down with other members of the syndicate to discuss the latest conspiracy theories making their way across the internet. But before I convene the first meeting of the Midnight Syndicate, let me introduce the members. First of all, I'm Sandman. I'm your host. I'm the chairman of the board. I'm the host of the Para Reality Podcast, where I discuss all things paranormal, UFOs, aliens, cryptids, conspiracy theories, and other, what I like to call, alternate topics. The other members of the syndicate are Eric Easy E. Patterson, former co-host of my podcast, Para Reality, and host of his very own podcast that he has with his sister Erin called Conspiracy Time with Eric and Erin. Eric is our conspiracy theory authority. He knows a lot about all kinds of conspiracy stuff all across the internet, from alien big cats and mud floods to giants and Tartaria. Easy E can tell you all about them. Next up is friend of the show, and I guess you could say a frequent co-host, Drew. Drew is our resident skeptic. He's more of a scientific type of guy. He's the brains of the syndicate. He holds degrees in chemistry, biology, and nursing, and if there's a rational scientific explanation for something, Drew will know it. And then finally, rounding out the syndicate, we have the mysterious man known only as Chainsaw. He's a former Marine who held a top-secret clearance, and he served our country in the Gulf War. Chainsaw's our no-nonsense guy. He isn't completely new to the world of conspiracy theories, but he's not quite as deep into it as the rest of us are. He's mainly concerned with the cold, hard facts of the topic. If the facts point to the truth, then he will accept it. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Midnight Syndicate. Gentlemen of the syndicate, welcome. Let the first meeting of the Midnight Syndicate come to order. So it looks like our first order of business here is to take a look at the murder of the UnitedHealthcare executive, the CEO guy. It's no conspiracy to say that he was murdered. That's a fact. But what we need to do is take a closer look at what are the possible reasons behind this and why it was done. So, gentlemen, let the debate begin. Don't everybody jump in there at once.
Where should we start?
Man, so like I said, there's no doubt that the dude was murdered, right? I mean, that's a cold hard fact. But
Yeah.
why? What's
Result-
the reason? You know?
Just from how it started,
Mm-hmm.
there's been a spin since the first release. I don't know what that noise is there.
I don't know. I'm not hearing a noise on my end, sir.
Okay. All right. So this guy was at a meeting or whatever, and obviously someone had previous knowledge to that they
Mm-hmm.
would be there. But there's a lot of back and forth about different things. One of them being that originally,
Mm-hmm.
the first stuff that you get is, as far as time wise, if you want to do a chronological order of things, he had a spinal injury.
You're talking about Mangione, the shooter.
Yes.
Okay.
Louis. Yes. And as a result of the surgery to repair that, left him impotent as far as being able to be with, women or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been some talk about his mother suffered some kind of trauma, and they didn't want to pay the bills for that or whatever. But he's from what is supposed to be a financially fluent family, so medical bills shouldn't have been an issue. But he was living in a commune. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
In Hawaii.
Now that's news to me. I haven't heard that part.
Oh, yeah. It was one of his commune roommates that told the story about him being impotent from his spinal injury or surgery procedure.
Okay.
So, other than not being able to be with women, life seemed to be his oyster.
Yeah, and he wasn't from what I'm understanding, he wasn't a member of UnitedHealthcare. He wasn't insured by them. So, why choose UnitedHealthcare other than the fact that they're like, the number one healthcare or insurance provider, or something like that, and notorious for turning people down on claims.
Hey, I still have that in case I need something else,
Mm-hmm.
So I do understand that.
Yeah.
But UnitedHealthcare is really for businesses that are supportive as far as, liability or whatever. So even though I work for a company,
Mm-hmm.
and UnitedHealthcare is our provider,
Mm-hmm.
the company dictates what benefits are allowed or what premiums you pay and blah, 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 blah. There's a big math equation there to determine what your coverage is.
Okay. Now, I know from being in healthcare that a lot of what we do as far as healthcare providers, whether you're a doctor, a nurse, a physician assistant, nurse practitioner, or whatever, but especially providers. And when I say provider in the healthcare world, that is a provider of medical care. So that would be a doctor, a physician assistant, or a nurse practitioner. Okay. In my world, the insurance agencies will dictate to us what it is that we can do as far as treatments, procedures, what types of surgeries we can do if these surgeries are considered necessary or elective, and how long you get to stay in the hospital if you're admitted, and you have to meet certain criteria, certain guidelines to be admitted. Now, that stuff I know companies don't control. That's controlled by the healthcare, by the insurance companies. What you're talking about is what benefits they're gonna pay for as far as the company is concerned.
Yeah, what your copay is, etc.
Right.
Even though it's UnitedHealthcare, everybody's policy could be different.
Could be different, exactly.
From where they work.
Right.
For example, using the VA, they have policies that are way less than what UnitedHealthcare allows.
Mm-hmm.
As far as like physical therapy,
Mm-hmm.
if you have to go outside the VA because the VA cannot, handle what you need,
Yeah.
they limit your visits. But then again, there's an opposite. The VA will actually pay more to the provider than if you use UnitedHealthcare. So yeah, most people that have to deal outside the VA
Mm-hmm.
are actually paid better
Okay.
in that regard.
Now, Drew, just building off what Chainsaw was talking about here and what I know about healthcare and insurance companies, are you kind of the same understanding that I am as far as how insurance companies dictate to us how we can treat people, what we do?
Well, I'm going to come out being the Marxist of the group on this issue.
Okay.
I think our insurance system is a crime. Any system that would force a type 1 diabetic to have to buy their insulin or else die is completely inhumane.
Yeah.
I actually agree with this kid. It's a good thing I'm not on the jury because I would definitely want to claim him to be innocent.
Go ahead.
I have been an anti-consumerist and anti-capitalist since the 1980s. And so I completely understand where this kid is coming from. Whatever radicalized him, whether reading about this CEO or reading about how UnitedHealthcare, denied claims or something like that, all I can say to this is good, motherfucker.
Well, it's funny.
This is a good start.
It's funny you should mention that because
power to the people.
There's famously been a tremendous lack of empathy for the death of Brian Thompson, who was the CEO that was murdered. Now,
yes, I consider this to be a good start.
So what did it do really? All it did was it took, the board of directors of all the insurance companies and they took their pictures off of their websites and they beefed up security. But is it really going to be this grand call for change? I mean, it's brought it to light, and it certainly needed to be put on the mainstream topic. Everybody already knew what was going on, right? But was this the way to do it?
Not yet. It hasn't gotten bad enough yet. It has to get worse.
Well,
then they'll change.
You may be true.
Yeah.
Now, believing that the health insurance industry might be partly to blame for the murder of the CEO of UnitedHealthcare, Brian Thompson, isn't really just some fringe opinion. In fact, a recent poll that was done by the NORC at the University of Chicago found that 69% of us Americans think that health insurance claim denials had a great deal or a moderate amount of responsibility for the murder. And almost as many, like 67%, pointed to the health insurance company profits as a major factor. So what the media usually does.
Which I completely agree with all of that.
Yeah.
Fuck those motherfuckers.
What the media usually does and what previous polls have focused on is to ask whether the murder was acceptable or not, which is just a dumb question. The predictable answer is, no, it wasn't, acceptable. But
yeah, I think the question is what is going to wake up these CEOs who are completely detached from the normal working individual in the United States. Like, how bad does it have to get for them to change the way they run their business?
How many millions is enough?
Yeah. And I mean, is this killing enough, or is in 2 years' time is someone else going to get knocked off? I mean, is something like this?
This is America. This is how it works.
Yeah,
right. I mean, yeah. From the beginning, that is how it works. I mean, that's how we got the British to leave. Is we just started, they just started killing them. Yeah. So I mean, obviously, I don't condone murder, but I mean, how bad? I don't know how bad it has to get for CEOs to these big companies to wake up, and also my conspiracy angle doesn't necessarily center around was the guy killed or not. My conspiracy angle centers around the state of the U.S. healthcare system in general, and also the state of our food supply and these big ag companies and big pharma companies wanting to keep us sick so that they can keep making a profit off of sick individuals. Because if you're healthy, no one makes a profit off you.
Yeah.
No one makes a profit off someone who doesn't have cancer. No one makes a profit off someone who doesn't have, a chronic illness.
Right.
If you're healthy, you go about living your life. You never have to interact with the system. Now, inevitably, people will get sick. It is what it is. But, if you look into the formation of, some of the original, food companies like Kellogg and,
like RFK is doing with Fruit Loops, right?
Fruit Loops, the ingredients in a lot of the cereals are outlawed in other countries. Like, why is that allowed in a first world nation? Or
exactly.
I mean, some people. I mean, I think some of our healthcare practices are not first world. A lot of it is still in the dark ages.
Well, we don't practice healthcare. First of all, we practice medical care, which is a reactionary thing. We wait till we get sick. We go to the doctor. The doctor gives us a damn pill and says, "Good luck. Come back and see me in 3 months or whatever." So we do not practice healthcare, number one. And this is coming from someone who is in the field.
It is our choice.
What do you mean by that, Drew?
Well, this is America. We vote how we take care of our healthcare just as much as we have anything else. So, and there are limitations on that because money makes everything better.
Capitalism, yeah.
If you choose 90% of our healthcare expenditures are in the last year of our lives. Yeah. And that applies for both the people who stay healthy and both the ones who are sick all the time. Mm-hmm. But it is our choice to eat right. It is our choice to get exercise. It is our choice to take care of our mental health.
That's very true, but because of the way that things are set up, it is a lot more expensive to eat right. It's more expensive to eat healthy. So if you want to be healthy in this nation, it's going to cost you a lot of money, and that's where one of the problems is that not everyone has enough money to be healthy.
That is
now,
100%
I know
true.
for a fact that Chainsaw, this man right here, in his lifetime, he has been one of the most healthiest individuals that I have ever ran across at one point. But it did not come cheap for him. He spent a lot of time, energy, and money in doing what he did to make himself healthy. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Time and energy. Yeah, that my individual. I could not control the cost of the nutrients I need it.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's a thing. So
Yeah, that's kind of the point I was making. Is like the odds, unfortunately, are already stacked against you because
Mhm.
you have like all these food dyes and Fruit Loops. You got the, personally, the whole plant-based meat stuff is insane to me because you look at the list of ingredients and it's like 90 ingredients long, and I don't understand that. Again, it's your choice to eat that way, but I don't understand that whole thing.
I agree with that. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and then
I'm
like,
happy that people are coming to light about this.
yeah. I mean, and then the whole system of like these factory farms, which on one hand I understand because like they produce a lot of food,
Mhm.
but it's already at a negative nutritional value. Like when you raise cattle on corn and whatever else feed, it's not as healthy as a cattle that is grass fed
Yeah.
Right.
or even grass finished. Now those are kind of two different things, but like,
You know, growing up
Right.
in Southeast Alabama, there was a lot of chicken farms around us,
yeah,
and it's
But
I
if
don't.
you want to eat beef, they need to be fry fed. That's why deer tastes better
Mm.
in Alabama than other places
That's a good.
because
That's,
they eat rice.
yeah, that's a good point. That's a very good point. So yeah, so you know, we do have this problem with. I mean, I'm just calling it for what it is with capitalism in this country, and
This is Monsanto's fault.
this is the way that we are practicing capitalism in the United States is not the way that capitalism was intended to be practiced by our forefathers. I mean, let's just make it at that. So money is the almighty dollar here. And getting back to the murder of the CEO, like how much did money factor into what happened? You know, was
Is it not true that CEOs cannot be sued for or held liable for the company?
oh
Is there not
yes.
some legal protection for CEOs?
yes, they
Depending on,
can. They can because Brian Thompson had a lawsuit against him for several $1 million.
Well, he had an investigation going on.
Mm-hmm. Yep. He was not like the news media has made this guy to be out like a family man and all that blah, blah, blah. But what they didn't tell you was that he was separated.
They put on it. Day one, they let you know that he'd been estranged for 2 years
Mm-hmm.
from his wife and kids,
Mm-hmm.
living in a separate residence.
Right.
Maybe in the same neighborhood or whatever, but
why
Yeah.
him? Why the CEO? Why him? If he wasn't even on UnitedHealthcare, why him?
What do you mean if he
I'm
wasn't?
sure somebody was. Why did he pick that CEO?
Well, that's what we're trying. That's what we don't know.
Healthcare network in existence.
As far as insurance company goes.
Yeah. Like if you have
How did he get radicalized?
Yeah. See, that's something that we still don't know because we just don't have enough information about it.
well, that's where it goes back.
Oh, it'll be the trial of the fucking century. It'll be the biggest thing since O.J. Simpson.
All right.
So let me tell you some things that I have found out about Brian Thompson. Okay. Just in doing my little investigation here. So the magistrate judge, Catherine H. Parker, who's overseeing the pretrial hearings for Mangione, is married to a former Pfizer executive and holds hundreds of thousands of dollars in stock, including healthcare companies and pharmaceutical companies. And that's according to her 2023 financial disclosures. And in April of 2017, which is the same month that he became CEO of UnitedHealthcare, UnitedHealthcare's Medicare and retirement business, Brian Thompson, the CEO, pled guilty to drunk driving, for which he served just a couple of days in jail. and then got probation. And then you're right, Chainsaw, that he'd been separated from his wife for a few years. They lived in their own separate houses. But the kicker in all this is that in May of 24, just last year, not even a year ago, the Hollywood Firefighters Pension Fund filed a lawsuit accusing Brian Thompson of insider trading and fraud. And according to this lawsuit, Thompson had sold $15 million in personally held company stock during a Justice Department antitrust investigation into UnitedHealthcare, knowledge of which he failed to disclose. And so when the news of this broke, it wiped out nearly $25 billion with a B, $25 billion in shareholder value.
Well, the holidays have come and gone once again, but if you've forgotten to get that special someone in your life a gift, well, Mint Mobile is extending their holiday offer of half off unlimited wireless. So here's the idea. You get it now, you call it an early present for next year. What do you have to lose? Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Limited time 50% off regular price for new customers. Upfront payment required. $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan. Taxes and fees extra. Speeds may slow after 50 gigabytes per month when network is busy. See terms.
This message is sponsored by Greenlight. With school out, summer is the perfect time to teach our kids real-world money skills they'll use forever. Greenlight is a debit card and the #1 family finance and safety app used by millions of families, helping kids learn how to save, invest, and spend wisely. Parents can send their kids money and track their spending and saving, while kids build money confidence and skills in fun ways. Start your risk-free Greenlight trial today at greenlight.com/Spotify. That's greenlight.com/Spotify.
So, this guy is shady.
There's your gun. Now,
he also sold $1.5 million in stock on the same day that the company got a ransomware attack that erased another $46 billion in market cap.
What about the weapon that Mangione used? Do you have any information on that?
Yes.
We do.
Chainsaw sure does have some information on that.
Yeah, he used a Glock 19 upper receiver. And what the media says is a 3D printed lower, which you don't have to have a 3D printer. You could do, the lowers, you don't have to register. You can buy an upper and have it sent to your house, delivered to your door, fully operational. But whatever mechanism you have that has the trigger in it determines whether it's registered or not. So if you can buy the parts and make your own lower and put your own trigger in there, this is what the media likes to call a ghost gun. Okay?
So he intentionally tried to make a gun that was untraceable.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He did. But he failed to make the gun he needed. However, I cannot deny results. He did what he set out to do.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a much better way to do it. No.
Just FYI for next time.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and then on the shell casings, they said there was like deny. What was it? Defend,
Oh, that's it. That's the name of the book.
yeah.
That's the name of the book.
Deny,
Yeah, that's-
depose. Yeah, I can't remember.
yeah.
At
So
first,
is that
Delay, deny, defend.
he engraved the shell casing
Mm-hmm.
for the brass.
Yeah.
So that was his inspiration. I could totally get that.
Yeah, so they're saying the
Yeah.
book.
He changed one word from the book, and
So the lower that he 3D printed, that is what.
I don't know if that's true,
Okay.
because you can buy them anywhere. You can have them shipped to your house.
Well,
I don't know that it is possible that he did.
Well,
I'm not convinced that's irrelevant, really. The fact is, he had a Glock 19 upper.
mm-hmm. Well, let me read you what his manifesto is, because I have obtained a copy of suspected killer Luigi Mangione's manifesto. Now, this is supposedly the real one, not the fake one that's been circulating all over the internet. Excuse me. Now, there are, as far as I know, major media outlets are in possession of this document, but they haven't published it so far, or even attempted to explain why they haven't published it. People have asked, there's been inquiries sent to the New York Times and the Washington Post, CNN, NBC, for asking them to explain the rationale for withholding this manifesto, but they haven't answered anything. But yet they will gladly cherry pick quotes out of it. So just to, for sensationalism. So let me read you what the manifesto says, guys. So, and it's not long, it's very short. And this is what it says. To the feds, I'll keep this short because I do respect what you do for our country. To save you a lengthy investigation, I state plainly that I wasn't working with anyone. This was fairly trivial. Some elementary social engineering, basic CAD, a lot of patience. The spiral notebook, if present, has some straggling notes and to-do lists that illuminate the gist of it. My tech is pretty locked down because I work in engineering, so probably not much info there. I do apologize for any strife of traumas, but it had to be done. Frankly, these parasites simply had it coming. A reminder, the U.S. has the #1 most expensive healthcare system in the world, yet we rank roughly 42 in life expectancy. United is the indecipherable, something, largest company in the U.S. by market cap, behind only Apple, Google, and Walmart. It has grown and grown, but has our life expectancy? No. The reality is these something indecipherable have simply gotten too powerful, and they continue to abuse our country for immense profit because the American public has allowed them to get away with it. Obviously, the problem is more complex, but I do not have space, and frankly, I do not pretend to be the most qualified person to lay out the full argument. But many have illuminated the corruption and greed, e.g. Rosenthal and more, decades ago, and the problems simply remain. It is not an issue of awareness at this point, but clearly power games at play. Evidently, I am the first to face it with such brutal honesty. And that is his manifesto.
I mean, again, I don't condone murder, but it's hard to argue with any of that.
I completely agree too.
Yeah.
I mean, it is. We spend the most, like 20% of our GDP is spent on the healthcare system. But like you said, we are one of the unhealthiest first world countries. Mm-hmm. It makes no sense. Logically, makes no sense.
Look,
but
I'm going to share this with the group, and it's only going to make sense to anyone if they're actually able to see the video of this podcast. But can you guys see this table right here?
Yeah. Zoom in all that.
So this is the table that from the survey that we were talking about. So as you can see here, 78% of those that were polled said that a great deal or a moderate amount of the blame falls on the individual who committed the killing, right? But then the next biggest one is at 69%. They say that denials for health care coverage by health insurance companies are a great deal or a moderate amount of to blame for this. And then next would be profits. And so it all comes down to money. I mean, the next one after that, wealth or income inadequacy, and then you have political division. So, but the point is that people are saying, yeah, we don't condone this because it falls squarely on Mangione or if he did it. Okay. So he's only accused of it. But the next thing we're talking about are denials by healthcare coverage is a cause
Right.
for this.
Yeah. I mean, Sandman, wasn't last week we had the Tesla truck burning in front of the Trump Tower in Las Vegas?
Yeah.
And at the same time having the bombings in New Orleans. I mean, you push people to the limit and have them chock full of guns. What the hell do you expect?
Yeah. I mean, we're at that point in our society where people are they're going to start just lashing out. I mean, you're already seeing some of it, and we have been seeing some of it for decades, really, for at least the last 10 years with all of these active shooter stuff. People get fed up with whatever's going on, and so let me go pick the most innocent people that I can think of who's not going to shoot back at me, some elementary school kids, and let me make this statement here, which it doesn't make sense to me. I'm sure it makes sense to whoever's doing it, but it's not going to make sense to me, and I'm sure it doesn't make sense to you guys. But yeah, we're at that point in our society where people are going to start just like, all right, let me blow some shit up. Let me shoot somebody. And Mangione did his homework, or excuse me, supposedly the accused killer Mangione did his homework, so he knew where this guy was going to be and when he was going to be there. And
I mean, it's pretty much open and shut case. I don't know what in the world the defense is going to defend him on, except if he was just absolutely effing nuts.
Yeah.
And I guess you could say he was nuts, but makes a lot of sense to me.
Very few people get away with that defense these days. No. So Eazy-E, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, Sean.
Eazy-E, what are you thinking? Like I can see you want to say something.
Well, no, I honestly don't have a lot more to say about the actual shooting itself. I mean, I'm kind of in the same sense Drew is. It seems pretty shut, but we'll see what happens. No, my thing is just, I mean, there's a couple things I've been listening to and reading about, just kind of more. This is pretty esoteric, but more about like we're entering an age of chaos and an age of like uncertainty, like globally, cosmically, and a lot of, I mean, just look at the environment. I mean, it's madness right now, really, and some of that is us, yes, as humans, but it's also the natural cycle that the Earth goes through. And so I personally believe that people are in tune with that or reacting to it as well. And so I think that doesn't explain everything, but it explains some of the chaos you see. And I think people are just like, I think people are finally getting tired of certain stuff. They're just kind of done. And the only thing else I would say is like, unless some of these CEOs like wake up, unfortunately, I think this will continue to happen.
Do you guys think that this was some sort of wake up call to healthcare, or excuse me, insurance?
That was the intent.
Mm-hmm.
However, I believe it was his personal issues, and the fact that he lived in that commune in Hawaii, where that's all they did was, put it down. And the fact that he had the means, coming from a family very well to do this. So he was able to set it up. And I'm telling you for a fact if I had to live the rest of my life and I could not have sex with a woman, that would make me crazy.
Especially at such a young age. I mean, he's what, 24, 26, something like that?
Yeah.
You know, he's in his
I
prime.
completely agree with Chainsaw there. That would be completely debilitating as a young man.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was obviously radicalized, somewhere. I mean, no normal person does that, even, how bad it gets. But yeah,
I would love to have for the mainstream news media to focus more on what his life was like in that commune, to do a little bit deeper dive into what's going on in the commune. But you haven't really heard about it.
Stop, putting up the UnitedHealth CEO, because it wasn't going that well for him for 2 years.
Mm-mm.
And like I said, day one, all right, here he is. And because his wife was immediately the first suspect.
Yeah.
And they put it out there. And then after she wasn't, then they want to talk about, but he's a husband.
Yeah, he's a good guy now. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No. Not that he wasn't a good guy, but they changed the narrative.
They did change the narrative. And what they're not talking about is the fact that, this guy did a lot of shady things. He, sold
He's
some.
already being investigated for insider trading.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he had this lawsuit, so.
Yeah, but the other thing is, like, those guys are always going to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter.
Really?
Doesn't matter. Yeah.
Unless they get shot.
What happened to well, I mean, I guess he's not okay now, but what happened to all those bankers and big banks that crashed the real estate market in 2008? Nothing. Nothing happened to any of them. Nothing ever happens to any of them. So even if he was still alive today and he was going through all these lawsuits and whatever, he was always going to be okay.
Yeah, because he has money and money buys power.
Exactly. The person that's not going to be okay is the person that gets their claim denied for a surgery they need for cancer. That's the person that's not going to be okay.
Exactly.
And that's what happens way too much. And I think that's the bottom line.
Years ago, I'm glad you brought that up, Easy E, because years ago, I was having a conversation with some fellow healthcare people of mine, and we were talking about HIV and AIDS and stuff. Now, back in the 80s, for those of us who might have been around in the 80s when this thing all broke out, you didn't hear a lot about HIV. You heard AIDS, because by the time everybody already, got diagnosed with anything, they were in full-blown AIDS, so AIDS was the big thing. And that kind of, I guess, digressed or changed. It morphed into, you started hearing in the mid-90s, early 2000s, you started hearing about HIV, and then that became the big thing. Well, I was having a conversation several years ago with some fellow nurses, paramedics, doctors, whoever. It was some healthcare people. And we were talking about HIV and AIDS. And I said at that time, they were talking about, finding a cure. And I said at that time that there would never be a cure for AIDS because there's not enough money in the cure. That there would never have a cure for AIDS, but there would be a vaccine for it, just like there would be for the flu. There's no cure for the flu, but you get a vaccine and it keeps you from getting it. Or if you do get it, it's not as bad. And now what do we have in the 21st century? We don't have a vaccine for AIDS or HIV, but we got a pill. It's called PrEP. And you're just now starting to see some commercials about it here and there, but it's been around for a few years and you don't hear anybody talking about it.
Yeah. Magic Johnson is still here.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's our pharmaceutical industry for you right there.
Yeah, that's a great.
You're not going to kill a motherfucker, but here's still to keep you from getting it.
Mm-hmm. Which the insurance companies will help you pay for or not. Depends on if you really need it or not. If it's something that you really absolutely got to have, they're like, I don't know that you really need this. But, if it's something that, maybe, they're like, oh, you need something for your acid indigestion. You got acid reflux. Yeah, we'll pay for that. Oh, you got to have this pill to keep you from dying. Help you with your cancer. I don't know that is that necessary? Prove to us that you really need this.
This is how our pharmaceutical industry works.
We all would see that what this person did was to send a message.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, was it right for him to send it? Is where my issue is. And I don't think it was the way he did it. And I don't think he would have done it had other circumstances that affected him.
Yeah. Good point. That's a good point. That's a great point. I will agree with you that, he did it to prove a point or to make a point. He sure did. So but his method, should he have done it that way? No, it was extreme, but I'm also with Drew in the fact that I really don't give a shit, and that's how the majority of Americans feel. It's like, it was pretty bad, but these motherfuckers have been fucking us over for a long time. So it's about time somebody did something.
This is a societal wake up call. We have a habit of eating our rich.
Mm.
We also have a habit of making people into Robin Hoods, and this is just a perfect example of it.
But
if it wasn't him, it would have been somebody else.
But guys, was the message received? I mean, the public gets it, right? But do the healthcare CEOs get it?
Not how to do it.
No, it's not. I agree, it's not how to do it. But that's the method that he chose. So this is what we're left to talk about.
I agree with you. But I agree with Eric on this one. I don't think they got it yet. Those fucking Bilderbergs, they've existed for a reason. Throw another conspiracy to the fire.
Yeah, that's a good one to reference.
Yeah.
All right, but I would still say do you consider the children that don't have a father now?
No, he didn't consider anything like that. I mean, people who are going to kill people don't consider shit like that.
I'm not talking about what
I think they'll be just fine. Those rich fuckers.
Yeah.
Fuck them.
Well, who are you talking about, Chainsaw?
What I'm saying is, you killed this guy that has children.
Mm-hmm.
And those children don't have him anymore. Even though they were separated and lived together, whatever, you can still raise children.
Yeah.
And he didn't just hurt that guy. He hurt those kids too.
Yeah.
And he never for a second thought about that.
Well, that's true. And that was my point that I was trying to say, that when people who are going to commit acts of violence like that or murder, they don't consider the anybody else about what's going on.
Exactly. He thought he was a smart guy, and he was a smart guy. He was an engineer.
Mm-hmm.
He did certain things, and that's why I look at all of it. And that's the amazing thing, is we have all this video to analyze and look at what did he do and what did he do wrong. And I don't want to put a video out of showing you how to do it better.
Yeah. There's already plenty of videos like that on YouTube anyway.
So, but he never considered,
no,
the lives he would hurt killing him.
Nope.
And I'm not saying he was a great guy or anything else, but I will never condone, violence on American soil against Americans.
Yeah, and I totally get your point there. But people like him, they don't, or any other active shooter, they don't take in consideration how many people are going to be affected by what they're doing. They have an agenda, whether that be to, raise awareness for a cause, or I'm pissed off at the world, or, I'm gay and I don't like it, or whatever, I don't know,
By his manifesto, my interpretation is he had planned more stuff to do, more.
I think
everything he wrote was in plural.
I think that he fully thought that he was going to get away with this.
Yep.
And if he had gotten away with it, I think he would have probably tried. I don't know about if it was another CEO of a insurance company, but I think he would have tried to make another statement about something big again. And he damn near got away with it. Damn near got away with it.
Yeah, he damn near got away with it. Made a fool of the entire New York police force. And he had his pictures posted every goddamn where. And it depended on some granny in some damn McDonald's in Pennsylvania to turn him in. What the fuck is up with that shit?
Yep. McDonald's, of all places. McDonald's.
Go figure.
Yeah.
Here's another thing for your conspiracy theories too, because just wait till fucking AI controls the shit. Because you don't think that's coming. I got a bridge to sell you in Arizona.
I think, just kind of off topic, you're talking about
bridges in Arizona.
Yeah, right. But just getting off topic here, you're talking about AI. I really think we need to do an episode on like sex bots and how the development of sex bots is going to directly relate to the downfall of the society. Because there
will be a population drop for sure.
Exactly. Because who's going to?
Maybe that's what we need. Maybe that's what we need.
It's better than the Thanos snap,
I heard someone say we just need a light famine. Light famine. Just to wake people up. Yeah.
Oh, look, guys, we're quickly.
I like the sex bot idea myself. I vote for that.
Hey, you're the scientist. You get to work on the technology.
I'll road test it for sure.
I bet you will. All right. Before this goes completely off of the rails, which we're really close to getting to, we need to start winding this thing down. So, in conclusion here, I don't think that we really, I don't think that, I don't think that we've reached any kind of conclusion. We had a great discussion, but I'm not sure that we actually reached any kind of conclusion here. But I think that we've given our listeners enough to think about. Does anybody have any closing remarks that they'd like to say before the first meeting of the Midnight Syndicate is adjourned?
I did.
Yes.
Murder is not an option as far as trying to make a statement. You need to make a statement. Some other way, that's not the way to do it. And my feeling is this person made that statement in the inappropriate way. As far as his issue was health care and he killed someone.
It's a thing of, does the end justify the means? And did he accomplish his goal? Yes. I think that he 100% accomplished his goal.
Yeah, he did.
But
I think
the way he went about it was a little extreme. Yeah. Drew?
I think that we're going to see more of this happen in the future, sadly.
That's what I'm afraid of.
Sadly, I would agree with that. Yeah.
You think it's going to be more insurance CEOs? You think it's going to be healthcare CEOs? Like, you know, HCA. I'm in Nashville. HCA is the big healthcare person. You think the CEO of HCA could get gunned down? Blown up?
I don't know. I truly don't know. We'll just have to wait and see what's next. We live in this place
that is going to be
with mass shootings and school shootings.
Yeah. Hey guys, you know, somebody on the HCA corporate headquarters is right downtown Nashville, and someone went and sprayed whatever Mangione had on his bullets to defend, deny, and depose or whatever. Sprayed that on the corporate sign down there. So, you know, we're probably going to see more.
The Nashville bomber. You know, we could see some Timothy McVeigh level stuff.
There was a whole lot going on with that Nashville bomber thing. I don't know that he was necessarily trying to make a statement. I think he was trying to bring attention to the fact that he thought that there were lizard people living in Montgomery Bell State Park. Drew, I think when it comes down to it, I think that's everything that was on his agenda. It just so happened that he parked his RV in front of the freaking AT&T switching station that controlled the comms for all of the Southeast. You know.
Well, wait, didn't he work for AT&T?
His father worked for AT&T.
There you go.
And he was fired from AT&T. And so, you know, did he know that building was there and what was in it? Yeah, I'm sure he probably did, but we don't know. Number one, his manifesto, I've never seen any release of it. And he mailed a whole bunch of shit to a whole bunch of people, and I've never really seen anything of what he mailed. But as far as we know, the fact that he parked his RV there was purely coincidence. Now, he may have had it in his mind that I'm going to disrupt comms, you know, but if that was it, he didn't specifically say that in anything that I am aware of. So, you know, as far as I know, if that was in his part of his intent, that blew up with him. I don't know. But yeah.
Well.
All right, Easy E, final thoughts.
Easy-E. No, I'm along the same lines. I think obviously this is a tragic, you know, death of a person. But I think there are a lot of people that are upset. A lot of people that are upset and hurting. And I hope it gets better, but I'm not optimistic.
No, if it does get better, it's going to be a long time from now. Yeah. All right, gentlemen. Like I said, we've run out of time. That was a great discussion, but I'm not really sure that we reached a lot of conclusions. But as I said, I think we've given our listeners enough to think about. And with that being said, the first meeting of the Midnight Syndicate is officially adjourned. Everybody, thanks for listening. On behalf of, thanks for being part of this, guys, this experiment that we're doing here. I'm excited to see how this is going to turn out. Everybody, on behalf of Easy E, Drew, and Chainsaw, I'm Sandman, the chairman of the board, and I bid you good night. The Midnight Syndicate will reconvene next month for another discussion, and I'll see you guys at the meeting.
Here comes the Midnight Syndicate, lost souls part of the lit parade. Darkness claims one life forsake under the moon of twisted fate.